President Trump reportedly seeking up to $230 million from his own Justice Department in compensation for past investigations into him. That's according to the New York Times, citing people familiar with the matter. The Times reports Trump filed 2 administrative claims, which are often precursors to lawsuits. The first, filed in 2023, seeks damages related to the Russia investigation into the 2016 election. The second, filed the next year, focuses on the classified documents case, accusing the FBI of violating Trump's privacy when it searched his Mar-a-Lago club. According to DOJ policy, only 2 people would be able to approve such claims: Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and Associate Attorney General Stanley Woodward Jr. Blanche, you'll remember, served as the president's lead criminal defense lawyer, and Woodward represented his co-defendant in the classified documents case.
Yes, Donald Trump is seeking $230 million from, quote, his DOJ, but friendly reminder that the Department of Justice is not supposed to work for the president. The president doesn't have his own Department of Justice. It's our Department of Justice that he has conveniently staffed with his loyalists, including his former personal attorneys. So conveniently for Trump, the people who would have to approve such a ridiculous payment are Trump's people, specifically Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Blanche, just a reminder, was Trump's personal attorney up until Trump became president, and he defended Trump in his fraud case in New York. But this isn't the first time that Trump has sought some sort of restitution for everything the Department of Justice has put him through. He is a lifelong billionaire victim after all. In 2023 and again in 2024, Trump had filed 2 claims seeking damages surrounding 2 DOJ investigations into Trump and his dealings, one for the Russiagate investigation and another for the classified documents case at Mar-a-Lago. The status on both of those claims are unknown, and Trump doesn't even seem to know what is going on with the current $230 million that he's asking for.
The Justice Department, are you asking them to pay you compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you? And how much are you asking
for?
Well,
I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. It's going to be, they've been trying to get it for 150 years, and it's really, I think it's going to be fantastic.
He really loves to just pivot to that ballroom, but Trump is feigning both ignorance and benevolence there. First, in what world is Donald Trump going to be given $230 million and then he just turns around and donates it to charity? Let's be real, also that payment would come from taxpayer money. We are the charity. The American people are out here struggling. Jobs are being threatened and taken away. Paychecks aren't coming, nor are they guaranteed to come ever. AI is looming not so high overhead, and the entire American economy is teetering on the successes of just a handful of tech companies, most of whom are operating with way overly inflated valuations. That's not concerning at all. Just give the money back to us. Bernie Sanders tweeted all of the money that Trump has made while being president in 2025 alone. So this isn't even including his first term. Has any of this money been donated to charity? He said, "This is what kleptocracy looks like. In 2025, Donald Trump has received $3 billion, mostly from crypto, $940 million from law firms, $400 million as a plane from Qatar, $36 million from CBS, $25 million from Meta, $24 million from YouTube, $16 million from ABC, $10 million from X, now $230 million from the DOJ. And look, if Qatar and CBS or whoever wants to give Donald Trump millions of dollars, that's one thing. It's not a good thing, but I suppose that's their prerogative. The DOJ, though, that is our money. Meanwhile, we can't seem to get healthcare funded in this country. Our government has been shut down for over 3 weeks now because Republicans have already made devastating cuts to healthcare, cuts that would mean that people will die and hospitals will close. They do not care. And Republicans don't seem to have any problem with any of what Trump is doing. They supported his $400 million plane from Qatar. His DOJ said that there was nothing wrong with him accepting the plane. And remember, they branded his second presidential term as his revenge tour. They have celebrated petty behavior, even if that pettiness means that millions of Americans will suffer for it, even if that pettiness means gutting and dismantling our government, even literally gutting and demolishing our White House. But Speaker Johnson is being called out for his own feigned ignorance whenever Trump says or does something outrageous, which is quite often these days. Here he is being asked about Trump's DOJ bid.
I don't know the details about that. I've just read it. I didn't talk with him about that. I know that he believes he's owed that reimbursement. What I heard yesterday was if he receives it, he was going to consider giving it to charity. I mean, he doesn't need those proceeds. But we're for the rule of law. We're for what is just and right. And it's just absurd that, I mean, as has been noted here several times this morning, they attack him for everything he does. It doesn't matter what it is. This whole dust-up about the White House, just by way of quick review, because I'm an amateur historian, you'll understand, the White House has been renovated many times over the years, you understand. I mean, it was built between 1792 and 1800, right? The British burned it down practically in 1814, and then they rebuilt it in the early 1820s. And ever since, like, we've had many presidents renovate and add things to the White House.
You said yesterday you were still trying to get the details of this $230 million the president has asked for the Justice Department to pay for his legal bills. Now that you've had some time, perhaps, to get the details, are you okay with taxpayers potentially being on the hook for that kind of money?
I'm not trying to dodge the question. I haven't had time to get the details. Okay, that's still on my things to do list. Yesterday was almost literally a 21-hour workday.
An article from Jen Psaki at MSNBC says at the top, Mike Johnson's go-to approach for confronting GOP scandals, burying his head in the sand. The House Speaker's see no evil response isn't just him burying his head in the sand, he is burying our representative democracy along with it. And it's true, more often than not these days, whenever Johnson is asked about something that makes him even a little bit uncomfortable, he basically pretends to not know anything about what he is being asked of. It makes him look like he's either a liar or an incredibly incompetent House Speaker. Either way, the American people are not in good hands. So the article says about Johnson's ignorance of Trump's latest money grab. Now, there isn't really a scenario in which the Speaker of the House wouldn't have been briefed about this story, a major headline in one of the biggest newspapers in the country. But Johnson's response should not come as a surprise. It has become his go-to approach. There has been a running joke in Washington, D.C. for years now that when Trump does something inappropriate, Republican senators and representatives can simply say they haven't seen the tweet, that they didn't hear his comments, or that they haven't seen the article. But Johnson has taken that see no evil response to a whole new level. Over the past few months, the Speaker has claimed ignorance on everything from Trump's crypto dealings to the president's reported relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Psaki writes that this approach is pretty incredible, saying it means that he, as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, one of the most powerful people in the country, doesn't actually have to answer for his actions and inaction. Johnson is just burying his head in the sand. This approach to power isn't just weakening our nation's system of checks and balances, it is directly hurting our country's system of representative democracy. So she goes on to give plenty of examples of this excuse being rolled out lately, but it is incredible. It is incredibly convenient for these lawmakers. They have found a way to just not address anything going on within their administration, to completely shut down and shut out any press or scrutiny or even just curiosity. They're telling the American people, leave us alone and don't even bother asking any questions because you won't get any answers. And similarly, there is no update on Trump and whether or not he will be given his $230 million taxpayer dollars. No word from the White House, no word from the DOJ, nothing from Trump, and nothing from Johnson. But not only are they not talking to us, they're not even listening to us. They exist in a world without accountability and without retribution, so why would would they? Why should they? Here is Daniel Ayers of the Hometown Holler speaking to a room full of lawmakers in North Carolina who are literally just staring at their phones during a town hall.
These maps are the wet dream of soft men who won't even look up from their phones to face their voters. These are men who lust for a world where the powerful do what they can and the rest of us suffer what we must. Jesus wept.
Voting for local elections is happening across the country next month. In many places, it has already started. Please stay informed on who is running your town and city and district and county, because these smaller elections matter. The soft men on their phones in that room in North Carolina were locally elected officials. We deserve better. And if trickle down has never worked out in our favor, maybe we can trickle up some decency into our federal government. All right. That's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.